Now we take again one of the very important topic here, coagulation or flocculation. On this property, in the exam you get question frequently. Now what is coagulation or flocculation? See, we have discussed lyophilic salts are highly stable because of solvation factor, whereas lyophobic salts are stabilized because of charge on them. All the dispersed phase particles, they carry same charge, positive or negative, so they keep on repelling. By repulsion they cannot come together, they cannot combine together, and they can't form PPT. Now what happens if by any means the charge is removed on the dispersed phase particles? Then what happens? The dispersed phase particles, when they neutralize without any charge, then they can combine together, they will come together and form bigger particles. That is called precipitate formation or coagulation. This phenomena is called coagulation. What is phenomena? The process of settling of the colloidal particles is called coagulation or precipitation. That is definition. आप इसको नोट कर लीजिए definition को. And then how this coagulation is brought about. We have seen this point that dispersed phase particles, they all are having same charge. So from outside, when we add some electrolyte like NaCl, solution of barium chloride or other solution of electrolyte, now in those electrolyte they have positive and negative ions both. So dispersed phase particle, they can take up one of the ion. They can take which ion? They will absorb that ion which have charge opposite to the dispersed phase particle. And when they absorb the ion which is having charge opposite to dispersed phase particles, the charge is neutralized. When the charge is neutralized, PPT will form, coagulation take place. Without charge, the particles will come together by having in them development of van der Waals attractive forces. They form bigger particles in colloidal range, colloidal dimensions. PPT formation will take place. That PPT will settle down at the bottom. Now what actually happens here? We can take two terms to differentiate sometimes. उतना important नहीं है, फिर भी देख सकते हैं. One term is called coagulation and one term is called flocculation. In flocculation, we add small amount of electrolyte, so all the particles are not neutralized. But and in this coagulation, we add more amount of electrolyte, so that all the dispersed phase particles are neutralized, and they will form PPT, which form and settle down at the bottom. But in this case, the PPT formed will float on surface. Floating on surface, flocculation. Floating on surface become flocculation. And then when the PPT formed are floating on surface, then shaking the salt thoroughly, strongly, this PPT form again disperse back in solution. The PPT form will disperse back in solution. So what happens? This flocculation become reversible. The flocculation become reversible. But in this case, in coagulation or precipitation, the PPT once formed go to bottom. On shaking the salt, the PPT will not disperse back to form the sol again. That is reversible nature. It become irreversible in nature. Are you clear? Then on adding the amount, a definite amount of electrolyte, they can cause coagulation. So we take one term called coagulation value. One term taken is coagulation value. What is coagulation value? It is the amount of electrolyte in millimoles which can cause complete coagulation or precipitation. Coagulation of 1 liter of salt, that is called coagulation value. Now this coagulation value, you can think, if amount required is more, that means they have high coagulation value, that means the electrolyte is having lower coagulation power. We have two terms here. One term is taken coagulation value and one term is coagulation power. The reciprocal of coagulation value is given as coagulating power. Coagulating power is inversely proportional to coagulation value. In the question, this term is very important. Be careful. In the question, what they are asking? Are they asking coagulation power or coagulating value? Coagulation power and value will be inversely proportional to each other. That the coagulating power and coagulation values are inversely proportional to each other. Are you getting this point? देखिए होता क्या है कि that different electrolyte will have different coagulating power and so different coagulation values. This coagulation value, it is found given by the rule called as Hardy and Schultz law. Hardy and Schultz law. What is Hardy and Schultz law? देखिए law क्या बोलता है आपका यहाँ पे देखिए in the dispersed phase particles, first we will take active ion in electrolyte. So first we select active ion. The active ion of electrolyte is the one which carry opposite charge to dispersed phase particles. Dispersed phase particles. That active ion is the one of the electrolyte which will carry charge opposite to that of the dispersed phase particles. And then higher the valency of active ion, higher the valency of active ion, more will be coagulating power, or lower coagulation value. Lower coagulation value. Power and values are related inversely. And then from this law we can say here, if for the coagulation of the dispersed phase particles, if they have charge opposite, positive or negative, then active ions can be selected accordingly. Like in the given case, if I take for coagulation of negatively charged salts like sulfides, what can be active ions? Suppose we are adding electrolyte NaCl, BaCl2, AlCl3. So in this case, what can be active ions? When we take negative charge dispersed phase particles, then the positive ions will be active ion here. So in this case, sodium plus ions, barium plus 2 ions, and Al plus 3 ions to be taken as active ions. They are taken as active ions. क्या लिखा है इसमें? Active ions of the electrolyte is the one which will have charge opposite to that of the dispersed phase particles. So when you have dispersed phase particles have negative charge, example sulfides, or you can take your metal salts, acidic dyes, clay, silica are common examples. So in their cases, positive ions of the electrolyte will act as active ions. And then for them, what is coagulation power? Coagulation power and values will be inversely. So power I'm just writing here. ये रूल क्या बोलता है? Higher the valency of the active ion, more will be coagulating power. So when we take aluminum plus 3 ions will have high valency plus 3. So Al plus 3 ions will have high coagulating power. Will have high coagulating power to cause the precipitation of the negative charge salts. Similarly, if I take the salt which have plus charge, then you can take for coagulation of positively charged salts. Example commonly taken, metal hydroxides, or basic compounds. Like we take ferric hydroxide. In this case, we can add different electrolyte, like we can add here NaCl, sodium phosphate, sodium sulfate, sodium phosphate, K4, FeCN6. So in this case, what can be active ions in the electrolyte? When we take dispersed phase particles are carrying positive charge, then the negative ions of the electrolyte are acting as active ions. So what are active ions here? Cl negative ion, sulfate ions, phosphate ions, and FeCN6, 4 negative ions are the active ions. They are active ions. And for this active ions, what can be taken there? Coagulation power. Active ions are having higher valency. Active ions are having higher valency. They have high coagulation power. So this is the order of their coagulating power. Now in the question, be very careful. Are they asking coagulation power और coagulation value? इसमें concentration दिया भी है, आपको नहीं देखना है, खाली क्या देखना आपको है उसका वैलेंसी. किसका वैलेंसी? एक्टिव आयन का. अगर एक्टिव आयन का वैलेंसी हायर होगा तो दे विल हैव हाई कोआगुलेटिंग पावर और लोअर कोआगुलेशन वैल्यू. दिस एग्जांपल स्पेशली इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आपका ऑलमोस्ट हर साल किसी न किसी एग्जाम में ये क्वेश्चन ही पूछते हैं. Salts can be negative charge or salts can be positive charge. For their coagulation, what is the coagulating power or coagulation value of the ions, active ions? Or they may give electrolyte solutions, from them you can choose active ions and then the answer can tell. So that is one way taken of coagulation. Now we can take several other methods for the coagulation of the dispersed phase particles of the lyophobic salts. Other methods of coagulation. Some other methods of coagulation in dispersed phase particles. In other method, first can be taken, already we discussed addition of electrolyte. Then you can take here mutual coagulation. Mutual coagulation of salts means by mixing of negatively charged salt with positively charged salt. By mixing of salts, one salt is negative charge, second salt is positively charged. On mixing them together, then what happens? Each can utilize one will utilize second or vice versa. So that is called mutual coagulation. Like mixing of sulfide salt to salt of hydroxides, they will cause mutual coagulation. Next can be taken persistent dialysis. What is dialysis? It is removal of electrolyte from colloidal salt. It is removal of electrolyte from colloidal salt. Now what actually happens if we carry out dialysis completely? देखिए normally क्या होता है कि for salt to have plus or minus charge, they require small amount of electrolyte, so that one kind of ions are excess which are adsorbed by the dispersed phase. So dispersed phase have one typical charge and the medium will have equal and opposite charge. Now by persistent dialysis we remove electrolyte completely. When we remove the electrolyte completely, the dispersed phase particles will not have any charge because they don't have any ion extra to adsorb on them. So what happens? Without any charge on dispersed phase particles, they get neutralized, then they combine together and they will form precipitate. They undergo coagulation. Next taken by electrophoresis. Now already discussed by phenomena of electrophoresis, or by this process of electrophoresis, the dispersed phase particles will migrate to one of the electrode depending on the charge. Okay, dispersed phase particles have charge positive or negative, so they can migrate to one of the electrode and then they get neutralized. When they get neutralized, then they combine together and will form precipitate or under coagulation. Next can be taken by excessive cooling or heating. This also will cause coagulation by increasing the interaction forces, or sol will be destroyed by heating or cooling. So there are some methods of causing coagulation in different cases. Okay, and this can be taken about this electrical properties. In the given topic, this electrical properties are very, very important for you people. Be very careful. You get an exam question most commonly in the electrical properties, especially this topic taken Hardy-Schultz law. वो आयन का वैलेंसी को देख के आंसर बोलना होता है क्वेश्चन में. ठीक है? Let us take the next point. Now after we have taken salts, next we take emulsions. What are emulsion? Emulsion is taken liquid in liquid type colloidal mixture. It can be defined as heterogeneous system consisting of more than one immiscible liquids dispersed in one another in the form of droplets. We have taken what? Liquid in liquid type emulsion mixture. But which liquids? We take two liquids which are immiscible into each other. And in such emulsions, one component is almost always water. Then the second component, which is water insoluble, is called as oil. Here oil refer to all the other liquids leaving water which are immiscible in water. We call them oil. So what we have two kind of emulsions. One is called as oil in water type emulsion, means oil is acting as dispersed phase and water will act as dispersion medium. We write them O by W, means O is the oil dispersed phase and W is taken medium, dispersion medium. Example taken here is milk, vanishing cream are the common examples of oil in water type emulsion. Second taken is water in oil type emulsion. When it is water will act as dispersed phase and the other liquid is acting as medium, oil or other liquid is acting as dispersion medium, then we call them water in oil type emulsion. We write W by O, emulsion. Example taken butter, cod liver oil, cold cream, etc. are the common examples of this water in oil type emulsion. Then it is next topic taken is what? Emulsification. What is emulsification? It is a process involving the preparation of emulsion. How we get preparation of emulsion? We discussed that two liquids are immiscible. We take two liquids are immiscible, then how we mix them together? The mixing is possible by adding some substances which are called as emulsifying agents or emulsifiers. The common examples taken of emulsifiers are the soaps and detergents are the common examples. What is the role of emulsifying agent or emulsifier? The substances which we are adding here for emulsification is called emulsifying agents or emulsifiers. What their role? The role is or function is to decrease or lower the interfacial tension between the oil and water, and they help in the mixing or intermixing of two liquids which are immiscible into each other. Now, how to distinguish the two kind of emulsions? That is the test or distinction of two types of emulsions, oil in water or water in oil type emulsions. You can take here distinction of emulsions. How to distinguish here emulsions? First can be taken here dye test. By addition of oil soluble dye. To an emulsion we are adding oil soluble dye. If the entire solution or entire emulsion become colored, that means oil is the dispersion medium and water will act as disperse phase. If second case, if they show colored droplets, that means oil is a droplets. So oil will act as disperse phase and water will act as dispersion medium. That is dye test. Second can be taken here, dilution test. Dilution test. Dilution can be done. Dilution is done by what here? Dilution can be done by addition of dispersion medium. Dilution can be done by addition of dispersion medium. Suppose we will have oil in water type emulsion, then by adding water, dilution can be done. If we have reverse water in oil type emulsion, then by adding oil, dilution can be done. So that is called dilution test. Dilution can be done by addition of dispersion medium. Third can be taken here, conductivity measurements. Conductivity measurement or test. Now in the emulsion we will add some, it is by addition of electrolytic substance. If on adding electrolytic substance like NaCl, if solution conductivity increase to large extent, more value, that means water will be acting as dispersion medium, because in water polar solvent, that the ionic compound will undergo dissociation, will produce more number of ions. When solution contain more number of ions, solution will have higher conductance. If I take on adding NaCl, if solution does not show or will show very low change in the conductivity, that means oil will be the dispersion medium, because in oil the solid particles will not dissociate at all. So what happens, number of ions in solution will not increase, solution conductance will not increase. Okay, so this is about your emulsions, the key points I have given to you here. Next we take small topic taken, gels. Introduction of gels we can discuss now. Now we take next topic is gels. What are gels? It is a colloidal system in which the liquid is acting as disperse phase, less amount, and the solid is acting as dispersion medium. Here the solid form a network. The solid disperse phase, dispersion medium form network in which they trap the liquid. Example taken, boot polish, jellies, gum arabic, agar, etc. Now we take some terms in the gels which are sometimes asked. One term is called syneresis or weeping. What is this term, syneresis or weeping? इसको आप लिख लीजिए पूरा पॉइंट को साथ में. When the gels are allowed to stand for long time, they give out the small amount of trapped liquid. The liquid is trapped in the gels, which is given out slowly, which accumulate on surface of the gel. This phenomenon is called weeping or syneresis. One term is called then thixotropy. Like sometimes your some gels are there like gelatin, gum arabic or ferric hydroxide. On shaking thoroughly, strongly, they will disperse into sol, and again cooling and allowed to stand for a long time. Sometime they set again back to gel. So this phenomena of sol gel transformation is called as thixotropy. Then gels can be taken two types depending on the preparation and the reversibility of nature. One is called elastic gel, other called non-elastic gel. What are elastic gel? Is such gels on strong on heating the gels, they undergo dehydration and convert to solid mass on dehydration, and on adding water again and just warming, the gel is again prepared back. So they can form gel again on addition of water. That is reversible nature, elastic nature. We call them elastic gels. एक होता है नॉन इलास्टिक जेल्स. यहाँ पर क्या होता है, on heating they change to solid mass, in which when we again add water and warm, they cannot give back the gel. That is called non elastic gels. Then this elastic gels have property called as imbibition. What is imbibition property? Okay, when we keep the gels in the water, they will absorb water and swells. This phenomenon called imbibition. This property shown by the elastic gels because in this case the medium have affinity for water or liquid. यहाँ पे क्या होता है non elastic में they do not show this property of imbibition. So it is about the gels. इतना ही इसके लिए gel के लिए introduction देख लिए, terms देख लिए, thixotropy, syneresis, elastic gel, non-elastic gel, meaning of property, imbibition. That's all about gels. Now we can take some applications of this as a whole, colloidal solutions of colloids, mixtures, and then this chapter is over. Now we can use some. We can see the uses of colloids. First, we can take use in medicines. In colloidal form, the medicines are more effective, especially when we take gold or silver or calcium in the medicines. When they are taken in colloidal forms, they are effective to be taken. In dyeing also, in dyeing industry, modern colloidal substances are used, which will help in fastening the color to the dyes, fastening the dyes to the fabrics. Rubber industry, latex, which is a negatively charged colloidal solution. So the substance to be rubber plated is made anode, and then on applying electric field, the rubber particles are migrating to the anode, and on the substance they deposit. That is, rubber plating can be done. So you can take several more uses of this colloidal mixtures. मैं एक बार सारे पढ़ दे रहा हूँ, आपको उसके बाद एक बार देख लेंगे इसको. अगला smoke screens. They consist of titanium dioxide used in warfare. They release smoke, and then for concealment or camouflage they can be used. Smoke screens. Formation delta. Delta means that rivers are carrying with them silica, the negative charge particles, and the sea water which contain magnesium plus 2 ions, sodium plus ions. They will cause coagulation of this clay silica that is coming with the river water, and then they help in formation delta. Water purification, we can again use this method here. Artificial rain, the clouds are one kind of colloidal mixtures. On spraying them with the evaporated substances, they help in the artificial rain. Smoke precipitation, again by this method of coagulation. Sewage disposal, cleansing action of soap by mussels formation, already explained to you. Photography, they were used now, so we have made all digital things. Now blue color of sky, we have discussed Tyndall effect, that the scattering of light will take place and they form bluish color Tyndall cone. When we take our atmosphere, then atmosphere, or can take as a whole this universe. So in atmosphere what we have? A large number of dust particles, smoke particles or other things. Now they scatter only blue color light and rest all light is absorbed. So the scattering of light by the dust particles in the atmosphere, they will make the sky to have blue color. If suppose atmosphere have no dust particle, no smoke particles, then it will look entirely black. The dust particle absorb only, they scatter only blue color light, rest all is absorbed. That is blue color of sky explanation by this application of colloidal mixtures or colloids. So that is this chapter taken. Surface chemistry over. We can take some questions here, especially for exam purpose. Exams we get question theoretical only. So rarely they can ask some question numerical based on the coagulation value or sometime gold number. That's all. So anyway, we can take some question on this topic and then we'll wind up. Now let us take some question practice on this topic, surface chemistry. You get some questions which are given to you here. Right, first question. 3 gram of activated charcoal was added to 50 ml of acetic acid. Normally it is 0.06 in a flask. Full stop. After an hour, it was filtered and the strength of filtrate was found to be 0.042 normal. 0.042 normal. Find the amount of acetic acid adsorbed in milligram per gram of charcoal. So read the question carefully, easy question है, and try this question yourself. Now coming on solution part. Easy question है, आप देखिए इसमें पहले क्या आपको दिया है? Let us take the 3 gram last. What is initial? We can take millimoles or milliequivalents. For acetic acid, n factor value 1, so normality same as molarity, or equivalent weight is same as for CH3COOH, n factor value is 1. So we can take here equivalent weight is same as molar weight, and that's how much here? 2 carbon, 24 plus 32, that will be 60. This compound have molar weight 60. Now we can take what is initial millimoles or milliequivalents of CH3COOH. Normality into volume 0.05 into volume in milliliters. Normality is 0.06. Let's come how much here? 3. And now what is milliequivalent after adsorption? After adsorption 0.042 volume of solution supposed to remain constant. So can take here how much the value come here? मिस कितना है इसमें? 2.10. That means how many milliequivalent have been adsorbed? By 3 gram. Difference 3 minus 2.1, that is 0.9 millimo equivalents have been adsorbed. So what is, we can take milligram adsorbed. Will be how much? Milliequivalent into equivalent weight 60. That come how much? 54 milligram. 54 milligram. 54 milligram have been adsorbed for 3 gram charcoal. Then amount adsorbed per gram will be how much? Amount of acetic acid adsorbed पर ग्राम चारकोल कितना है आपका यहाँ पे? 54/3, 18 milligram is your answer. Okay. Now let us take next question. आपको दिया for a linear plot of log x by m versus log pressure, P is pressure in Freundlich adsorption isotherm, which of the following statement is correct? आपको ऑप्शन दिया है, ऑप्शन ए दिया है ओनली 1/n अपीयर्स एज स्लोप, ऑप्शन बी दिया है log 1/n अपीयर्स एज इंटरसेप्ट, सी दिया है बोथ k and 1/n अपीयर्स इन द स्लोप, ऑप्शन डी दिया है 1/n अपीयर्स एज इंटरसेप्ट. So try this question yourself. Now coming on solution part, if you just can recall the Freundlich adsorption isotherm expression क्या था हमारे पास? x by m is equal to kp power 1/n, where n and k are constant. Or if I write this expression log x by m is equal to log k plus 1/n log p. Write a p here in this expression. So this can be equation of straight line. Y is equal to mx plus c. So m can be slope here. If you draw the graph here, log x upon m versus log p. Slope can be taken in this case m, simply equal to 1/n only, and then we can have in this case intercept can be taken how much? Log k. Log k will be your intercept in the graph. So what is the answer for this question here? Option A is the option most appropriate as the correct answer. बाकी कोई भी आपके ऑप्शंस मैच नहीं करेंगे यहाँ पर. We can see this expression. Basic question आपको ध्यान रखिए क्वेश्चन करने के लिए. That is this question taken here. Now let us take next question. Let us take two more objective questions. पहला क्वेश्चन आपको दिया इसमें gold number of protective colloids A, B, C and D are 0.5, 0.01, 0.1 and 0.005 respectively. The correct order of their protective powers is, आपको ऑप्शंस दिए हैं, आपको चूज करना इसमें से है, ठीक है. That is first question. You write both the questions at a stretch and then try both. Write second question also. अगला दिया the disperse phase. DP यहाँ पे क्या है? Disperse phase in colloidal ferric hydroxide and colloidal gold is positively charged and negatively charged respectively. Which of the following statements is not correct? Option A दिया है coagulation of both can be done by electrophoresis. B दिया है mixing of salt has no effect. Option C दिया है sodium sulfate can coagulate both. Option D दिया है magnesium chloride coagulate gold salt more readily than ferric hydroxide salt. Try yourself. Now coming on solution part. दोनों ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस हैं तो विल नॉट टेक एनी टाइम फॉर सॉल्विंग. देखिए पहला क्या है, गोल्ड नंबर. हाउ वी डिफाइन द गोल्ड नंबर? इट इज अमाउंट इन मिली ग्राम्स ऑफ द प्रोटेक्टिव कोलाइड दैट इज लायोफिलिक सब्सटेंसेस रिक्वायर्ड टू प्रिवेंट कोआगुलेशन ऑफ 10 ml of gold salt on addition of 1 ml of 10% NaCl solution to it. What's definition of gold number? Now if a substance have higher gold number, that means it have less protecting power of the lyophobic salts in coagulation. So the lowest number is whichever have lowest value of the gold number will have highest protective nature, protective action. तो किसका हाई लोवेस्ट है? डी का. एक ही ऑप्शन है, आपका काम हो गया आराम से. डी का क्या है? लोवेस्ट गोल्ड नंबर will have highest protecting power of the lyophilic substance in protecting the lyophobic salt from coagulation. So we can take option C straight away, the answer. We can take otherwise the gold number value will be higher means less protective power. तो सबसे highest किसका gold number है? A के लिए A का highest है, so A have least protective power, then C, then B, then D. हो गया आंसर आपका. Now coming on second question, the disperse phase in colloidal particles ferric hydroxide and gold salt. चार्ज इक्वालिटी पता है, इसके बारे में दिया भी है क्वेश्चन में आपको यहाँ पे. Which is not correct. Whenever the question they give you selection of correct or not correct, always underline not correct part and then read the question, because it happens कि जल्दबाजी में एग्जाम में टाइम कम होता है तो नोट को बच्चे भूल जाते हैं, तो आपको नोट को भी देखना पड़ेगा यहाँ पर, ठीक है. अब आप देखिए इसमें coagulation of both can be done by electrophoresis. Yes, during electrophoresis dispersed phase particles go to electrode, get neutralized, then they coagulate. Mixing of salt has no effect. It is wrong. So it is answer. Mixing of salts, they will cause mutual coagulation. Each will neutralize the second and then they undergo mutual coagulation. Sodium sulfate can coagulate both. Yes, it has sodium ions. They will help in coagulation of the gold salt. Sulfate ion help in coagulation of the ferric hydroxide salt. Charge active ion इसमें for ferric hydroxide which have plus charge. Negative ions are active ions. For gold salt, which is negative charge, sodium ions will act as active ion. So it is correct. Magnesium chloride coagulate gold salt more readily than ferric hydroxide. It is correct because for the gold salt coagulation is by magnesium plus 2 ion, which are having higher valency. Ion having higher valency will have high coagulating power. That can coagulate the salt more readily. Magnesium plus 2 ion are active ion for gold salt. Gold have negative charge, so magnesium ions are active ions. It is as per Hardy and Schultz law. Quite important topic is there, Hardy and Schultz law, where you get question quite commonly in examinations. So I hope it is clear. Fine. Let us take next question.